Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Athlete in the 519. I'm Greg Schooley, and of course, Kelly Steele. Thank you for coming, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Greg.
First off, just got to do a little business. We have Tim Campbell for everything in real estate. Call 519-259-9999. Can't forget that number. Give Tim a call. He'll set you up good. On top of that, make sure you hit the like button or comment so I can enter you in to win free spit tickets. Not only free spit tickets, they're Crown Royal seats, and you get a pass into the Crown Royal room and VIP tickets or VIP parking. So that'll work out great for when you show up. So nonetheless, here we are to talk about Kelly growing up in the 519. So what was it like? So Kelly was on here before when we had like maybe 1,000, maybe 1,100 members, but we've grown quite substantially now. So, and she's a very interesting guest, and I'm glad she's here. What's it like growing up, Kelly?
Well, first I was going to say this has really grown. This is an impressive setup you have here. I'm very impressed, and thank you, like I mentioned, for having me on your show. Growing up, Kelly. So it's interesting. I'm not actually from Windsor. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, Sarnia, right? Correct?
Actually, Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm from a small little town outside Sarnia where most people don't know, called Wyoming. So usually when I tell people I grew up in Wyoming, people assume that I'm from the States, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I came down here for school and didn't absolutely love Windsor when I first arrived because I was in the West End, but grew to love it. Like I've been here since I was 18.
Oh, you came here for school?
Yeah, and I never left. You know, met my ex-husband at the time, and this is home now, and I love it here.
And so you went to school, obviously, and you became a reporter with the Windsor Star, correct?
I did.
How was that?
Well, it was kind of interesting because a lot of people say, you know, they know when they're in high school what they want to be for a living. Well, I never knew. And newspaper jobs just kind of kept falling in my lap, which maybe sounds really bizarre. I'd go home for the summer and, you know, I worked at the Sarnia Gazette, I worked at Petrolia paper, and then, I never ever decided this is what I want to do. And I remember my moment when I knew I wanted to be a reporter. I happened to be in Sarnia and Tom Monahan's yacht was in there. And so he invited me and the sports reporter on, and he had the World Series trophy. And I just thought at that moment, wow, being a reporter, you get access to all these really cool things. Like everyone wants to, you know, invite you and show you their stuff. So at that moment, I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do.
Well, that's interesting. I remember, I think when I first started to know who you were climbing the building. Or climbing down a building.
I was rappelling down Caesars, yeah.
So that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a great career. I got to do so many cool things. And it's kind of interesting because I recreated myself as the fitness woman. And you know,
and you wrote articles on that.
I did, yeah. I went through my career at the Star, and then they started to do some cutbacks. And so I thought, you know what? I have to recreate myself because at that point I was a beat reporter. I'd cover car accidents and murders and stuff like that. And I thought I have to recreate myself. So I went into the editor and I said, you know, I have this idea where I'm just gonna like do things, like go and try paddleboarding or go and try, whatever, and write a story, first person on it. And he's like, yeah, give it a try. So we branded it The Woman of Steel, and the thing just took off. And I actually got paid to do some really super cool things like, you know, I was in a fighter jet. I got to go on the Grand Prix track. Wow. Some of the stuff I just somehow swing it that it was fitness. But it was a really cool gig and I loved it. And I go to work every day and I'm like, I shouldn't even get paid for this job because I love it so much.
That's actually pretty cool though. And it is interesting. People want to show their sport. Like I'm a big fan of lacrosse and I really want to show it because it's just doesn't seem to be picking up speed, but it's such a fascinating sport. But when you run into somebody like you go and you present it, it's a good feeling that goes behind it, I guess. And you think that, it could take off now or whatever. But nonetheless, and then, of course, the Windsor started to cut back even more. Mm-hmm. And actually, I don't even get the Windsor Star anymore. But
and that's the thing. You know, I thought, I can either wait until, they kick me out the door because cutbacks, or else, you know what? I'm just going to do it again, start another career. And so now I work for the City of Windsor. I'm a supervisor there, and it's a fabulous job.
Now, let's go, move more over to how did you start doing this?
How did I start doing this? Well,
Now, I got to tell you, I did a marathon, believe it or not.
I know,
and-
I remember.
and I started with her, and the knowledge you gave me, though, I actually listened to everything you say, and then my wife ran with you also, and just the things you would talk about really helped me, and I used it in my training, but I needed to train with you more than what
You
I
did
did.
fabulous.
But I still finished, just so everybody knows, I still finished.
And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. You
yeah,
finished, right?
Yes.
Well,
So,
how did I get into this? It's interesting because I think what makes me a good running coach or a good trainer is the fact that I wasn't a track star. I wasn't this super duper amazing athlete in school. In fact, I was always that person, especially in elementary school, where you heard of, track day and all that. And it seemed like this really cool thing that I would never get to go to because I was
Not
really
good.
bad. I was not athletic at all. So I think that's the reason it makes me a good coach, because I get it. People who are just starting and they've not run and they don't know how to get in shape, they'll always say to me, you don't understand. But I do understand, because I
Yeah.
know what it takes to, put your running shoes on, go out for a run. I know it's not easy. I know how hard it is. So, that's kind of what I think I bring to the table for a lot of my clients.
and that's the average Joe, though, right?
Absolutely.
Because we don't know, and it looks so hard, and it is hard, though.
It is hard.
It's
It's
not
like
easy.
you either love it or you hate it. There's
Yeah.
like no in between, right?
Yeah.
But so I had my children, and of course, as most women, I put some weight on, and I'm super, super, super impatient. So I put my shoes on one day, and I thought, I'm just gonna go for a run. Looks easy, right? You put your shoes on, you go run down the street. So I put my shoes on, went for a run. I think I made it 2 driveways, and I was doubled over going, oh my God, that was so awful.
2 driveways.
And it was so bad. And each day I'd go a little bit further, and it started to get easier. And then it was just like something just kind of awoke in me, and all of a sudden I was like running marathons after marathons, and there's just like no limit. It was, at one point, I'd be training for 3 marathons a year.
Well, it's funny you say that, because this is our next slide of you doing 34 marathons, probably 64 plus half marathons.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
And so when you did your first one, did you make it?
I did. So I did my first one with my ex-husband, and we had trained, and we were so new to running, and back then, not a lot of people were running. So I remember we'd pop into the running factory all the time. We'd be like, we're going to do hills. We don't know how to do hills. What do we do? And, back then we'd buy Runner's World, and we'd be flipping through Runner's World. And I remember our long runs, we would put our little fanny packs on, and we'd have bagels and all this stuff stuffed in there, because that's what they said in the magazines to do, right?
Oh, really?
But can you imagine 15 miles and grabbing out a dry bagel and trying to eat it? So, with us, it was a lot of trial and error. And,
Yeah, for sure.
but our first one, we went to the Flying Pig in Cincinnati. Super hilly course, so that was tough. But, we finished. I probably loved it more than Gerald. But after that first one, I was like, I got to do it. So I went to Detroit, qualified for Boston. And then it was just, I was this beast.
Oh,
Where
yeah?
my thing was every marathon, I had to have a Boston qualifier.
You were confident. Obviously, the confidence just came,
Yeah,
right? with
because I
each
was in good
race.
shape. I shouldn't say easy, but it felt easy because I was just always training,
Wow.
And, you start to feel good about you. You know what it's like. You start to feel good about yourself. You're losing some weight. You're accomplishing these cool things every time you
Yes.
go out, because you're doing your 12 miles or your 14. And you come back and you just, your chest out. You just feel good about yourself.
Yeah, and it is an exhilarating feeling to finish. I mean,
Absolutely.
I finished very late, but I still did it. But I remember the mental aspect, and you told me about it. It actually consumes you when you're running. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're very good at it now. It probably doesn't, or there's different aspects of
Oh no. There's
Yeah.
days like this morning, my alarm went off. I'm like, okay, get up, go for 4 miles. Oh, but my bed is so comfy. I didn't go
and
today.
it's so cold out.
Yeah, and so it's not like I do it all the time. But I have to ask you, when you came across the finish line,
Yeah.
did you get overwhelmed?
Yeah, actually, I was very proud, and I'm going, man, I can't. It was so hard. Like it must have been the last 4 or 5 miles. Especially, I see the people with the time cards. They go by, and if you stick with me, you'll
Yeah,
finish
the
at this
pacers.
time. And then they kept going by me. I'm going, okay, I'm sticking with this guy, and then they'd get farther ahead, and the next guy was past me. I'm like, oh shit. But anyways, I made it though, and it was pretty exhilarating, and went in the bar and had my first beer. Actually, I saw you there with
know.
some of the people you ran with and that, and it was pretty cool though.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
And when you're saying the pacers, I for years would run with a pace group from the States. And my whole job was just to get someone, if I carried that 4-hour sign, my job was just to get whoever in my group over 4 hours.
4 hours.
But it was hard because if you were in my group, you and I would talk, and we're best friends, you know, because we spent 2 hours together, we're best friends, and then all of a sudden you start to fall off. And I'm turning around, and you're looking. Your eyes are big because you see that I'm going away, and I can't slow down because I.
And you're looking for new best friends.
Yeah, and it would make me so sad every single
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I would wait at the finish line until I'd see that person come, and I'd hug them. I'd be like, "Oh my God, you know, it was so hard leaving you. I'm so sorry." And they understood, but it's weird, as you know, during that race,
Oh, yeah.
whoever you're running with, they're like your best friends.
Yeah.
You know. You're like, yeah, we're gonna hang out after. You know, you're never gonna hang out or anything, but you know, you're just connect. I ran one race in Quebec, a marathon, and the guy didn't speak English, and him and I ran side by side, didn't speak a word. We'd stop for water together. If I went to the washroom, he'd stop. We just stayed side by side because it was like each of us knew if we lost the other person that we'd probably be done. And when we finished, we hugged each other.
And you
Still never spoke a word and never saw him again. But he did. I know he pulled me along, and I'm sure he's probably telling that same story somewhere that I pulled him along.
Yeah,
for that race,
absolutely.
You know? And that's what I love about running, those stupid little stories, but they're big stories.
Yeah,
you know?
they fill your heart, right? It's
100%.
That's pretty cool. Okay, I just got to talk about my man Tim Campbell at Century 21. Sorry, I almost lost the light there. At Century 21, please give him a call. For everything in real estate, 519-259-9999. And also make sure you like this program and you're entered to win 2 Spitfire tickets for this week. You'll get 2 seats in the Crown Royal section and 2 passes into the Crown Royal room. And on top of that, you get the VIP parking. And it's a great deal. You just park your car and you'll walk right in, and it's cold out, so you're close to the building. You feel like a champ. Nonetheless, make sure you like and we'll enter you in to win. We'll have the winner announced tomorrow. So this is what I want to talk about because I really didn't know. Maybe I did know, but you ran the Ironman. Mm-hmm. I mean, that must have been just fulfilling, or I don't know. Like, did you have any toenails pop off, or scrapes?
Well, Ironman was a lot like my reporter career and like my marathons. I never planned to do it. It wasn't something that in the back of my mind, I was like, I really want to do an Ironman. And when Ironman comes up, they open it. And if you're not on your computer right at that minute, like ready to hit the button because everyone's trying to get in for these, you can't get in.
Oh, so it's not a qualifier, or some people are
You pay a lot. These are expensive. You pay almost $700-800 to do these Ironman, and you're sitting there with your credit card. So I remember a couple of my friends had said, let's do Ironman. And I'm like, I'm not doing Ironman. They're like, come on, just do it. I'm like, I have no desire to do Ironman. They're like, come on. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go on, and it's going to be, I'll know if it's meant to be if I hit the button and I get registered. And I didn't think it would happen. Of course, I got registered. I'm like, damn it. So I had to get a coach, and he would just like keep me on task because Ironman's a big undertaking. But to do it, I literally gave up a year of my life because you got to think every day you're run, biking, and swimming.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot of work.
Where do you practice swimming, though? Do you practice in the summer, like at the lake, or do you go to a swimming pool?
You do open water. So we go to Bell River or in the river here.
Oh, yeah.
I hated swimming. I never loved it. And all my training partners will tell you I was that person that'd show up and go, oh my gosh, we got to swim today. I wish it was wavy. But
oh, why you don't swim when it's rough?
I'd be topping out. You know, meanwhile everyone else was like, I hope we don't have to run today. But so my Ironman was in Panama, Florida, and that day, of course, it was super, super wavy. Like the waves were massive, and it was just on the brink of whether to cancel it or not. And I was actually at that point going, oh my gosh, don't cancel it, because if I don't do the swim, I got to do this whole thing again, because they would just have it that you do just the bike and the run.
Oh,
That's not a true Ironman, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, going in was hell. Like you start in, I don't know if you've ever seen the starts. They just, everyone goes in the water at once.
It looks like you guys are just fighting.
Crazy. And I'm trying to swim, and the waves are smashing me in the face, and the dude over here is kicking me, and someone kicks off my goggles. And I remember just stopping for a second, feeling like I was going to cry, and I thought, I'm going to drown. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And I really was at that point, because it was super scary. And then I thought, but you've given up a year of your life to do this. Are you really going to not do it? So I sucked it up, did it, and you know, it was amazing. That picture there is funny because I could hear the whole time, everyone wants to hear, Kelly Steele, you're an Ironman. That's what they say when you come over. And it sounds, I still get overwhelmed even today hearing that. But I remember 2 miles out, I was like, screw this. I've been running.
2 miles out?
Yeah, I've been running for, and doing the Ironman for like 11 and a half hours. I started in the dark, and literally you finish in the dark. And I remember thinking, screw this. I'd wanted to do 12 hours. It was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. My mind was all gone. It was like my body was going, but I couldn't even pace myself. I'd run fast, I'd run slow. I was like all over the place, and I was just like focused. And when we came in, I remember trying to raise my arms. I could barely even raise my arms for that. But, like the 12, 13, my goal, like I said, was 12 hours.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with it. But it was an incredible experience.
Do you carry a compass on you, like you know where you're going, or no?
It's all mapped out.
And you just follow it.
Yep.
And there's people all the way along, or does it get lonely for a while?
On the bike ride, like you're on your bike for like 7 hours.
And there's nobody
And
around.
there's no
Well,
around.
just people in front of you or behind you.
Yeah,
right?
and you know me, I'm like a talker. So on the bike, you're not allowed to be near anyone because you can be drafting off them.
Oh, yeah?
So I would wait until there was a washroom. So I was that person. I'd be at the washroom at the porta johns going, hey, so how's it going? Because I was like dying to talk to someone. But once I got in the run, I could just chat with people.
Oh, yeah.
But it was incredible. It was a great experience. And I often say, you have to do something in your life that makes you so uncomfortable, that you're so far out of your comfort zone, because in that moment, you really find yourself and you discover so much about yourself. Because with this, I didn't think I'd finish it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, there's no way in heck. I'm not an Ironman.
Now, do you do that on the first day you get there, or is it the last couple days?
We had 2 days, so that one too, because it was in the Gulf. I've never swam in salt water, so
yeah.
we had a couple days to kind of get used to the weather, get used to the water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I love. There was jellyfish, there was sharks. I remember halfway in the swimming, something huge went underneath me, and I remember just going,
oh my God.
Don't think about it, don't think about it. It was nothing. It was probably a scuba diver.
Oh, man. Yeah, hopefully it was.
Right.
Anyways, but that's kind of exhilarating too. Like you think about it during your run, or you think about it today. But that's so, and to talk more about what you do now in the community, like everywhere I go, everybody knows Kelly Steele.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that you've helped so many people run. And that's why I show that leg picture. I go, have you seen these legs? You've ran with you, but it's pretty amazing that you can do such good work for the community. Like, so I do this, and it's you congratulated me on doing something like this, but I mean, you actually you've helped so many people run or change their lives. Really, it's not the running either, right? It's you accomplish something, and that does change your life, but it's just the whole fact that you've helped so many people. Like everywhere you go, if you talk about running, people talk about Kelly Steele.
But it goes both ways. Because everyone that comes into my life, everyone that I've trained, like you, they always have a special part in my heart, because for 16 weeks, I'm a part of your life. During the training, you're telling me stuff. I'm with you during your good times and your bad times. And I'm telling you, that's my favorite part about coaching, is just getting to know the people, and when they accomplish their goal, I'll run them in and I cry every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so happy, because at the beginning, everyone's the same. I don't know if I can do this.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I love. Like my runners mean the world to me.
So say there's somebody out there and you have a group, or is it still called Kelly's Crew, or is it?
Yeah, and I don't really have my group anymore. I'm doing more of, because when COVID happened, it was really hard to run in any kind of groups. And so right now I do a lot of one-offs. People come and they just hire me to just run with them and do stuff one-on-one. Which I love almost more, because I'll run with you tomorrow morning, and for half an hour we'll just talk about you and how your week's been. And I like
while you're
stuff.
running.
Absolutely. You know me. I talk nonstop.
And it's interesting. So for somebody, obviously they can get a hold of you, but how do they start? Just to start, like say to do a marathon or a half marathon. Yeah. Did you say 16 weeks? Like it actually takes about 16 weeks to do a half.
Yeah, because the key is you want to do it properly, because nothing's worse if you start to train and you're running too far or too hard and you start to tear something or pull it. Because, injuries are so easy when you're running.
Yeah.
So, I always say to anyone who's interested in running with me, I like them to walk first. Get a couple, weeks of good solid walking in. And then when they come to me, we'll do the walk and run. And then gradually, less walking, more running. And the whole time they're going, I'm never going to be able to run the whole way. And they're running the whole way.
Yeah.
And that's when I just go, yep, that's awesome.
Well, and then I show this picture because I just think it's a great picture of yourself.
Oh,
and
thank
it shows that, you've rewarded yourself, whether it's because you ran or not. I found this picture and I just thought, wow, it's a beautiful picture of you. And it just shows,
Thank you.
everything that you've accomplished in your life. It just seems you're so settled there. Like it's a very happy moment for you.
My life is good. I have a great life. And, I always thought if I can leave, this world and I've left a mark, then I've done something. And I feel like I have because, people are living healthier lifestyles and those people check in with me. And so I know that I've made a difference. And so that makes me feel good. And also that line there, the best, for those people who don't want to run, give them the old, you know why I run? Because I can eat and drink whatever I want to. And that usually sells them.
A lot of people say that, which is funny. So, and you know what? Thank you very much for coming on. I just want to tell you about next week's guest. And it just a coincidence that we have another guy that runs, well, he doesn't run as much as he trains, I guess. He trains students at St. Clair College, and he's collected quite a lot of hardware in his lifespan in teaching and coaching. He's a great guy, Paul Boots. So I can't wait to talk to him next week. And once again, don't forget, Tim Campbell, our sponsor, for everything in real estate, call Tim Campbell, 519-259-9999. And press like and comment. Let us know how we did. Let us know how Kelly did. And you're entered to win 2 tickets to the Spitfires game, 2 Crown Royal seats, and 2 seats inside the Crown Royal room.
Sounds good.
And VIP parking.
Even
Thanks
better.
for tuning in, and thank you very much, Kelly,
Thank you
for
for
coming.
having me.
It's been
Appreciate it.
fantastic. And it's great to see you again.
Same.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week with Paul Boots, athlete in the 519. Peace.